All right, everybody. Hello. So I am outside. I'm at my mom's house. We're actually getting ready for a yard sale. That's what this is. But it's early. I didn't want to wake her up. I just woke up, actually, as you can tell. And so I came outside so she can't hear me. But I just had to listen to this Amber Heard interview segment from yesterday. I've only seen it once. I'd kind of forgotten about it, and I wanted to react to it. I haven't had time till today. So I'm going to watch this interview with Amber Heard and react to it. This is the interview segment from yesterday.
Start, Savannah, with your exclusive conversation with Amber Heard.
Yeah, for 6 weeks, the defamation trial between her and Johnny Depp was hard to ignore. Every accusation aired for the world to see, and reaction on social media getting billions of views. Well, after the verdict, largely in favor of Depp, Heard called it a setback for other women who wanted to speak up. And now she says she fears other potential...
Just so we're clear, Amber, it is not a setback for women, okay? You have been the setback for women. You know, I've said this before, Amber Heard wanted to be a gender activist. She wanted to really get involved in political activism for women's rights and the rights of domestic violence victims and all of this. And yeah, you had a big impact, Amber, but not in the way you imagined. You have single-handedly dismantled Believe All Women. And you've set Me Too back a number of paces, and you have demonstrated something that I didn't know if it was possible to demonstrate this to a lot of people who believe that women never lie about stuff like this. And what you have demonstrated is that not only are women capable of lying about things like abuse and sexual assault, but in fact, some of them are even capable of constructing elaborate hoaxes. So yeah, you are the one who's had such a profound negative impact on victims, and that's just one of the many shameful things that you've done.
Defamation lawsuits from her ex-husband as she looks to move forward. There's a text message where Johnny promises total global humiliation for you. Does it feel like that came true?
What?
I know he promised it.
Y'all, I've seen this before. Okay, I saw this once yesterday, but I'd forgotten about how crazy long that pause is. And it is, okay, here's the problem with Amber Heard, okay? Well, one of the problems is that she is a terrible actress. And she thinks that she's doing some great acting here with these pauses and everything, but the problem is they're all just a little bit off. Everything she does is just a little bit, in terms of the timing, it's just a little bit off. And I noticed some people saying that about the trial, you know, that when she testified, it seemed like there was always something kind of strange about the timing of her pauses and the inflection of her voice and even her breathing. It didn't seem natural. And this is part of it, okay? The woman asked her this question, and she does this very, very highly mannered, highly affected charade where she goes, I mean, you can almost, it's not quite that extreme, but you can see, right? You can see that she's kind of going through the stages of, okay, I need to seem like I'm really upset and like I'm processing the trauma. Oh, it's so painful. Inhale, exhale. I mean, it's just ridiculous. All right. Wow. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I'm not afraid of these interviews. I know that there are some people, and I respect your opinion, but there are some people saying that these interviews are bad for Johnny Depp and they wish she would go away and it's negative attention and all of that for Johnny Depp. I think this is great. I think she comes across looking so fake and ridiculous in these interviews. And so, I don't know. If I were Johnny Depp, I'd be glad to see this shit.
Fight to this. I'm not a good victim, I get it. I'm not a likable victim. I'm not a perfect victim.
I could do without the poutiness too. You know, the lips kind of out. And I'm not a perfect victim. I'm not likable. Well, you're way beyond not a perfect victim, okay? There's a difference between an imperfect victim and whatever the fuck Amber Heard is. Diabolical, evil, manipulative, sociopathic. There's all kinds of things I could put in there, Amber. So it goes a bit beyond, I'm not a perfect victim. I should say not. All right.
For you. Did you feel like that came true?
Oh, I see. I went too far. So I get to watch her doing this fake breathing again here. Man, that pause went on forever too. All right, here we go.
I testified to this. I'm not a good victim, I get it. I'm not a likable victim. I'm not a perfect victim. But when I testified, I asked the jury to just see me
Yeah, they saw you. That's the
as human and hear
that's your problem.
his own words, which is a promise to do this. It feels as though he has.
Amber Heard reflecting on the ripple effects of her tumultuous trial with Johnny Depp.
I think that's another problem. I don't think there's actually much reflecting, or at least self-reflecting, going on here.
Found liable, are you nervous as we are here today about what you can say now?
Of course, I took for granted what I assumed was my right to speak.
Do you
Not
feel
to
like
defame.
you could be sued again by
You
him
don't have a
for
right to
defamation?
defame someone,
I'm
to
scared
lie.
that no matter what I do, no matter what I say or how I say it, every step that I take will present another opportunity for this sort of
Look, and I just want to say something about this notion of free speech, okay? And not to get, I'm not going to, don't worry, I'm not going to talk about the ancient Greeks. I'm not as smart as Amber. No, but seriously, you do not have the right. Yes, free speech is wonderful. I'm constantly singing its praises on my channel. Where would I be without free speech? Okay, I'm glad that, as imperfect as it is, YouTube, that at least I have an outlet or a venue for my opinions, which are unpopular often. But look, Amber, you do not have the right to defame someone. And so this idea that there's going to be some kind of a chilling effect on victim speech, well, there should be a chilling effect on lies. Yes, women out there, I just want to say to all women out there who are lying, who are defaming men with false allegations of sexual abuse and sexual harassment and domestic violence, yes, you deserve to be taken to court then, and I hope that you are. Okay, so this notion that it's going to have some kind of a problematic silencing effect for true victims, I don't agree with that. What it's bringing back is some healthy skepticism hopefully into our media and into the way that we think about these things. Because believe all women, that kind of stuff, it was an overcorrection. And we're still seeing these problems, by the way, for instance, in our universities, but.
silencing, which is what I guess a defamation lawsuit is meant to do. It's meant to take your voice.
It's meant to take
But
your
Amber
lying
is
voice,
still speaking
your
just
lies,
days
your
after a jury
defamation.
stunned many and
Understand, everybody, the only reason that Johnny Depp took her to court is because the courts are one of the few, as imperfect as they are one of the few places that are left where someone can fight stuff like this, can fight public defamation. He tried to do it in the media already. He did an interview with Rolling Stone. He did an interview with GQ. Those were basically shitty hit jobs. They weren't fair to him, especially the Rolling Stone interview, if I'm remembering correctly. And, he couldn't get a fair hearing in the media, social media. That Umbrella guy and a few other people Brian Fellow were the only people who were even paying attention to Johnny's side, to the truth. Okay, so yeah, the court was a kind of a last resort, Amber, and that's why he didn't immediately file a lawsuit against you, right? He hoped things would die down. He hoped that you would shut up. And then he saw that you were ramping it up. And just like a bully, appeasement does not work with a bully. It didn't work with Hitler. And oh my gosh, I'm about to get Hitler and Amber Heard in the same sentence, which I hate it when people bring up, Hitler as an analogy, because most of the time it doesn't work. It's an exaggeration, but whatever, Amber. My point is that appeasement doesn't work, and it didn't work with you. Okay. And so being a bully, the only thing that you would respect was force. And in this case, the force of the law.
the actress defamed Depp in an op-ed where she said she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. The piece, which never mentioned Depp by name, was published 2 years after the couple announced they had settled their divorce. Life had seemingly moved on, and you decide to write an op-ed. Why did you do that?
Because the op-ed wasn't about my relationship with Johnny. But
Oh,
it
come
alluded
on, come on. And I know other people have noticed this too. This isn't anything original that I'm seeing, but we all know Amber Heard. We all know that the op-ed was about Johnny. Do you not remember saying that in court? Camille Vasquez had that wonderful Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise moment. And I did a video. Look at my video titled A Few Good Men. If you haven't seen it, it's a mashup of that awesome courtroom scene in A Few Good Men. And Amber Heard on the stand being questioned by Camille, where she just folds unknowingly, stupidly, and admits, oh yeah, that's why I wrote the op-ed, because too many people I knew would come forward for Johnny, right? And so, anyways, we're just gonna ignore all the sounds of the neighborhood. But she said, yeah, I knew so many people would come forward for Johnny, so I had to write that op-ed, okay? But we're just going to act like that didn't happen, of course. What she's banking on, what Amber Heard is banking on in this interview, is that people are uneducated and uninformed. And that's why, like yesterday, she said, well, if people just listened to the entire 2-hour audio, then they would see that Johnny's team had just given them this inaccurate edit. No, that's not what happened.
It was unmistakable.
What the op-ed was about was, me loaning my voice to a bigger cultural conversation that we were having at the time.
Did you worry? Gosh, I'd love to be a person weighing in on these cultural issues, but that's going to stir this all up again.
I obviously knew it was important for me not.
Of course she knew what she was doing. We have that whole paper trail going back to the ACLU, where the ACLU's lawyers are saying, I don't know if you should put this in here because I think it's a little too obvious then that you're talking about Johnny Depp. Come on.
Make it about him or to do anything like defame him. I had lawyers, teams of lawyers, review all the drafts of this.
When you wrote this op-ed,
yeah, we know.
It was the height of Me Too. Legions of powerful men being canceled, losing their jobs. Did you want that to happen to Johnny Depp?
Of course not. Of course not. It wasn't about him.
Not at all.
But the op-ed and the abuse alleged was at the heart of the 6-week trial.
Just pulls his arm back with the phone and throws it at my face. Hit me right in what felt like my eye.
Heard testified that the final straw came after a violent fight in May 2016. 6 days later, she filed for a restraining order, cameras capturing her as she left the courthouse. But Depp's lawyers convinced the jury Heard was lying about the abuse. Police who responded to the 2016 incident testified during the trial that they didn't see any injuries and that Heard declined to file charges.
This was a hoax, according to his team.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I cooperate with the police? As I've testified before, and I will stand by until my dying day, I didn't want to cooperate with them. I didn't want this to be out. I didn't want this to be known. I didn't.
That's not really an accurate representation, Amber, and you know it. I'm not going to get into debunking all of this right now, but come on.
Want to cooperate with them because I didn't want this to be. I didn't want to get him in trouble.
That's
if it
not
was a
why.
hoax, I could have done that.
But 5 days later, you went to court, and it came out.
5 days later, I made the.
Five days later, I contacted TMZ, and then I had this fake bruise that for once in my life, I didn't want to use my Amica cream to cover up, right? And then I paraded around outside the courtroom, and if you watch that footage, what I love about it, or hate, or love, hate, or hate, love, is the way in which it's so obvious she's wanting every camera to catch that fake bruise, okay? And I don't know if the bruise was self-inflicted or if it's something that she literally faked. But anyway, but she didn't have it the next day, right? No makeup on, with rocky, crystal clear face, nothing. But anyway, outside of the courtroom, she is just moving that head around. I don't know, you should look at the footage. It's funny. I think I have it somewhere on my channel, but anyway, all right.
I didn't want to get him in trouble. If it was a hoax, I could have done that.
But 5 days later, you went to court, and it came out.
5 days later, I made the decision to stand up for myself and protect myself. You can't get a restraining order in private, which of course I didn't understand the night when the cops were called.
An employee of TMZ testified at court and said that TMZ was tipped off about when you were going to be going to the courthouse and on what side of your face bruises would be apparent. Did you tip off TMZ?
I was
What
gonna say,
side of the
certainly didn't
face?
get tipped off by me or anyone in my.
You know, tip off TMZ.
Why would they? No.
You ask no one to do.
Okay, I've noticed that she does two things when she's lying and she's wanting to be really emphatic. She does this, and I can't do it. You know, I have that lazy eye thing, so I can't do what she does, but very well. It looks weird because my eyes cross. But she'll do this sort of frantic cut with her eyes, and then she juts the chin out, and she's like, "Why would I?" I know that probably looks ridiculous, but why would I?
As I testified to before, it had nothing to do with me.
They're different incidents.
Let me tell y'all something. Do you know what you have to look forward to? I am waiting on it to come in the mail today. Come on, Jeff Bezos, don't let me down. I bought a blonde wig. It should arrive today. As soon as it arrives, I'm going to do a parody of Amber Heard's interviews, of the best moments or the worst moments of these interviews, right?
Testified to, and the Depp legal team would put up pictures of you publicly right after that or in the days following.
Yeah, no
and
sliced
saying
up back,
that why
no
are there
big injuries.
No bruises.
Again, it's that thing. If you have bruising, if you have injuries, it's fake. If you don't have any, then you weren't injured.
I would say in your case, that's actually a really accurate representation of things. When we see the pictures of the bruises, she faked them. And then when we don't see it, we also know that she was lying. I know the point she's trying to make, but I'm just saying, look, Amber, the problem is you have no credibility because you have lied about so many things. So look, here's the thing, Amber. If you had this really great story and all of this evidence and everything that lined up and you didn't have this history of extensive lies, then people would cut you some slack for the stuff that you're talking about, right? They'd be more open to this perspective. But because you have lied, and you've lied so extensively for so long, and because you got up on the witness stand and you clearly lied in front of everyone, yeah, people don't believe, people don't understand, and they don't understand also how you could have such extensive injuries. I've talked about this before, you know, a sliced up back and broken bones and broken nose and split lip and all this, and the worst you can come up with in terms of photographs is just very light bruising. I don't understand why take pictures of the much more minor things and not these really extensive things, right? Was your phone not working on those days, or you didn't have the extra space on your iCloud? I don't understand.
Promised to donate the $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity. It was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. However, they played a tape where you stayed on the air that you have donated it. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
I made a pledge, and that pledge is made over time by its nature. And
When you say I donated, you know that everybody thinks that you...
And that pledge is made over time by its nature. Yeah, tell us more about the nature of pledges. Are we about to get into a philosophical discussion about what a pledge is, according to the ancient Greeks? Plato once said, "What is a pledge but a wish?" Oh, I don't know what Plato said.
donated it, not that you pledged it. So, for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
I don't know, because I feel like so much of the trial was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call me a liar in every way you can. And
That was the trial. It was a credibility contest.
And
That was it.
Savannah's not doing a bad job. I know I get on the mainstream media's case, but she's not been doing a bad job. She's throwing some stuff back at her. She's holding her feet to the fire more than I would have expected. Okay, yeah, if it were me, I would have come on stronger. But this is better than I expected of Savannah.
is another one of the examples where if you pull back and you think about it, I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that in order to have...
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did.
Exactly.
Right, which is where it wasn't...
Exactly. No one, Amber, look, no one required you to pledge that money, okay? But the problem was, because you had already gotten this reputation among a lot of people who believed that you were just trying to extort Johnny Depp, for more money in the divorce settlement, which you actually were, right? We've seen that letter sent from your lawyers. Because people believed that this was a money grab, and because a lot of people were skeptical of your domestic violence story and of the way that you were performing in front of the media and TMZ that day, then you, like an idiot, you're the one who pledged that $7 million. Okay, and then you couldn't get out of it. All right, so nobody put that on you, and I don't appreciate you misrepresenting it. Okay.
To go. Heard says she still plans to honor that pledge.
Oh yeah,
How do you
right.
see your future now?
Don't hold your breath.
I get to be a mom, like, full time, you know, where I'm not having to juggle calls.
I'm sorry, I don't like to be cynical about motherhood. It's just I have to be cynical about everything with this woman because and we've seen this for years. Everything with her is some kind of a ploy for her own personal advantage. And I just don't understand. Look, let me just say this. Amber Heard has been saying for years now that she gets death threats and that she at times has been afraid for her life, all these insane Johnny Depp supporters and fans and everything. I'm not a mother, I've never been, but I can't imagine if I were a mom who was getting death threats and who was afraid for my safety at times. I can't imagine that I would take pictures of my child like I'm seeing right here. They have a picture of Amber and her kid that she posts on Instagram. I would not be posting pictures of my children on Instagram. I would not be referencing them in major interviews like this, certainly not showing a picture, because to me, that would make that child a target, even more of a target. So I don't buy the story that she gets all these death threats. I don't. And by the way, different topic, but I don't buy that with Evan Rachel Wood either. Evan Rachel Wood claimed that she was terrified of Marilyn Manson, whom she said had made threats against her son, that she had to install, wanted to install bulletproof glass in her home and flee to Tennessee, and all of this. This is in court documents from her custody case with Jamie Bell. She's so terrified, and then what does she do? She makes her son a primary focal point in the second part of the second episode of Phoenix Rising. Her takedown documentary of Manson, the entire documentary Phoenix Rising, is devoted to taking down Marilyn Manson and exposing him. And she's so apparently terrified for her son that she puts her son in multiple scenes. Doesn't make sense. All right, let's finish up this bullshit.
With lawyers, one day you may want to tell your daughter about this or have to tell your daughter about everything that you've gone through. What would you want to say?
I think no matter what, it will mean something. I did the right thing. I did everything I could.
And I really hate her very disingenuous expressions when she's really wanting to get your sympathy and your understanding. It's this sort of like very sort of mournful puppy dog look. I don't know. I'm beyond it. None of it works on me. And she has long since exhausted whatever patience I had for her or for this hoax or any of this bullshit. So like, subscribe, hit me up on PayPal, Patreon. It does take time and effort to produce these videos for you and to get the interview clips and put them up and all of that. Well, you know that. I appreciate whatever you can do. And if nothing else, I appreciate you watching. And one thing that everybody can do to help me, I am within 1,000 views of getting 1 million views on that interview with Paula. I'm trying to get my first 1 million view video. So everybody, would you look at the link, click on the link in the comments and in the description. Do it one more time for me. If I can get just some of you to go over there, look at it for 30 seconds. Look at it for 30 seconds so it counts as a view. I will get that 1 million today and I'll be so happy. All right, everybody, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.